Welcome to the Young Old Podcast, where one of us is in their early 20s, one of us is in their late 20s, and I'm in my early teens, but I don't wear sunscreen, so I look fucking terrible.
Two sisters talk about dumb shit. We hope you like it. Cause if not, then we'll kill ourselves and the blood will be on your hands. Young Old!
We're getting canceled right now for hanging out with Robert because he's so freaking young.
I'm a young baby, but my skincare routine is staring into the sun every day.
He looks 40, but he could be 17, 16, 15, 14, 13.
12, 11, 10.
12, 11, 10.
Well, as Dana and I always point out, we're the same age, but I don't wear sunscreen, so it looks like we have a massive age gap.
And I have brown face short girl privilege, which I do think will make it so I look really young until I look really old.
And I have old face white man.
Famously, there was a creepy man.
Unprivileged.
Well, I was about to say unprivileged, but it's like I have unprivileged in the way that the sun damages my skin. Pretty much everything else is aces.
Yeah,
so
yeah, 100%.
yeah.
And it's really hard to be a white man in America these days.
It really is.
I know. I mean, we used to run the world, and now we just run the world.
but not even secret.
Well, I went from caps to small font.
Yeah.
Okay, but famously, a creepy man told our mother an all-time creepy man bar, which is small dogs stay puppies forever. Which is he was trying to flirt with her by saying because she's short, she's
not
always
old.
youthful.
Because small dogs stay puppies forever.
Which is like, and we were like, I've never heard that before. It's a bar, and we've never heard it.
It's rare that like both the creepy and the creativity levels are
Matching
maxed out
up, yeah.
on the same thing. Because he invented that.
He literally invented.
You have
it.
to
That's an
admire his creep
original.
originality.
He freestyled the creepiest thing I've ever heard.
And he's right. Like, Biter's a little guy, and he feels like a little puppy all the time.
Biter will be a puppy forever.
Yeah, when
He's a little
old
big
men
puppy.
flirt with Biter at the bar,
Right, exactly.
they're like, small dogs stay puppies forever.
Look, it resonated because there was
It
some truth to
resonated.
it.
It resonated for real.
Yeah. By resonate, it sent a shiver up our spines whenever we think
But I
about
was like,
it.
damn, it sent a shiver up my spine. I was like, that's so gross. But I was like, damn, that's kind of bars.
It's a bar.
It's crazy that your mom had to hear that and then just like go on with her day.
Well, she was like, he was her optometrist, I think, and she literally was like,
Oh, no.
She was like talking to me, and she's like, I don't want to go back, but he has my glasses. So
There should be like, I wonder if there's a course in optometry school of like, okay, so these are all the things you can't say to people.
I definitely don't think they have any sort of like harassment training. You know
In
what?
optometry
No, but you know
school?
what I realized
Yeah.
too? It's like when people used to be small business owners, there were way more creeps going unchecked.
Yeah.
Because it's like when you are your own boss, no one's telling you what you can and can't say to customers.
Well, also-
you kind of have to figure that out for yourself when customers just like don't come back for
Well,
their glasses
it's like
one day.
when you walk into like a small little mom and pop store and mom's behind the counter and she says, hey, Toots, nice ass. And you can't do anything because it's a
Right.
mom and pop store.
Right.
And she's mom.
And she's mom.
What are you gonna do? Report her to Pop? Pop
Yeah.
loves it when
Pop
she does
loves
that.
it. It gets Pop off.
Yeah.
Well, I told Pops, and he said, take the compliment, sweetie.
He's like, I wish she'd tell me that more
Yeah.
often.
Also optometrist, because if you're a medical professional, I think you feel like because you're so brilliant, you can say whatever. And that was Dr. House's whole thing.
That's so true.
Dr. House would say, if I was watching House and Dr. House said, small dogs stay puppies forever, I'd just laugh and say, classic House.
Well,
Yeah,
he
it's
famously
interesting
did
how-
sexually harass women.
Yeah.
That was, I think, part of his thing.
That was part of his charm.
But again, it's so interesting what plays on TV that doesn't really play in real life so much. But it's like because there's no screen.
Well, it's
between
like in
us.
Vampire Diaries when Stefan and Damon kill someone by
Right.
ripping their heart out of their chest.
Right.
That would not fly in the real world.
Well, that would be a deal breaker.
That would probably be a deal
but
breaker.
instead, it's like clearly not a deal breaker. Every girl is in love with Stefan and Damon. They are dying to have them rip their heart out.
Also,
Well,
I think
everything's okay when you're hot. Like,
Yeah.
Dr.
Yeah.
House is like, obviously for an old guy, is not a bad looking man. I'm going to assume the optometrist was not
smoking
a
hot.
hottie.
What's so interesting about Hugh Laurie is like I'm a big Hugh Laurie fan. I think he's like really hot. But from the top angle, you can see he has this like bald spot that
Yeah.
you can't see at a lot of angles. And like once the bald spot
you
angle
get the
is
ick.
revealed, it's a little ick.
I like how you said, like, I'm a fan of Hugh Laurie, as if the Hugh Laurie stands were going to come for you in the comments.
I guess he
Laurie's
doesn't have
a young
quite the
old
stand-up.
nader.
I
Oh my
would
God, Hugh!
love for Hugh Laurie to be a young old nader.
Wait, it's Hugh.
You can cuddle up
King
with Dana when
Charles
you come
McGee.
on.
Yeah. Come on out.
I So you get McG, I get King Charles.
And I'll take Q.
And you get
Wouldn't it be
Q.
wild?
The Mike situation.
Who's gonna cuddle with Biter? Is there a dog celebrity?
that we care about.
I was gonna say
Boo
Boo,
is
but
dead.
dead.
we could
We
dig
have-
up Lassie.
Oh my god!
Just have Biter chewing on Lassie's corpse over there. What? I thought we were having fun.
I just saw something about how like Parker Posey kept her mummified dog in a drawer for like years.
Abby Lee Miller from Dance Moms taxidermied her dog.
I literally saw, it's so funny you say that. I saw a clip of Abby Lee Miller filing a police report on someone for telling her to put her cell phone away at a dance competition. I literally, if you watch the clip, it's so funny. Even the camera guys don't know what she's doing. Abby Lee Miller is in her motorized scooter looking at her phone, and another woman comes up and says, hey, you preached to us about decorum during these things. You better get off your phone. And that's all she says, and sits back down. And Abby Lee Miller doesn't say anything. She just reverses in her scooter, drives her scooter out on the street. The camera guys are like, where's she going? Like her assistant's like, I don't know. And then she drives her scooter into a police station and files a police report on this woman.
I loved when
That's
she
so
got
iconic.
when she was in her scooter era. It just made everything 10 times funnier.
Yeah, in her scooter era.
Why was she on the scooter?
I think she was doing cancer treatment, right, or something.
Oh yeah.
maybe she gets
Suddenly
always, like,
suddenly it's a little less funny, you know?
Yeah.
Well, she was abusing children. Okay. Well, not really.
No, really, she was just a
verbally.
dance teacher.
She was just a dance teacher.
And you know
which
what? She was
is,
a good dance teacher, and she created a lot of stars. Tate McRae, you're welcome.
You're welcome, Tate.
Yeah. Abby Lee Miller was Tate McRae's dance teacher. I'm gonna get that going.
No, but people
No, she
were
was.
like,
Is that real?
Yeah, Tate McRae wasn't Tate McRae.
Yeah,
a dance mom.
I
Yeah.
think
What?
Yeah, she was part of the Dance Moms crew. That's how she had like a TikTok following initially, and she would just post dances.
That's
I'm almost
awesome.
positive she was a Dance Moms girl.
That's so cool.
Yeah, but
JoJo.
to Abby Lee Miller's discredit, JoJo, Tate,
And then what's the other
Kenzie,
one?
Ziegler.
well, Maddie
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 Ziegler,
Ziegler.
me. That I spent a summer there.
Robert
Oh,
Spencer.
yeah.
He was
He
always on the
did
bottom of
not
the
make the
pyramid.
cut. I was just
Yeah.
gonna say the bottom of the pyramid with Nia.
But I did just see, to Abby Lee Miller's discredit, a video basically dissing Tate McRae's dancing. And they were like, she just doesn't have it. They were like, her dancing isn't fun to watch. And they were basically saying that Tate McRae will never actually blow up because she'll never have the approval of the black community because she like lacks a certain like swag.
I think
Which
that you can
is, like,
just say you
valid.
don't like her music. I think that would
her
be you-
dancing and
Well,
her
but this person was
music.
basically saying like, "Oh my god, classic." I mean, I do too. But this person was basically saying her music doesn't have enough juice and her dancing doesn't have enough juice for those things to
I
really
think
blow her
her
up. Like she's
music
never gonna be
and
Britney. This
dancing
is what
is
this person.
what the
good.
take was she'll never be Britney. I mean, that's because the songs aren't as good. If Tate McRae
Yeah.
released Toxic, it would be huge and everyone would love it. It's just it is a little bit annoying how
like a lot of her songs, and I can actually name them for real.
no one asked you to name them. It's okay. We believe you. I'm not saying I dislike her music here, but I'm talking about how clearly other people on the internet, Dana referenced other people who
Yes.
hate it.
There
her
are
music.
no other people. There's only me and my opinions.
If you
and what I say and think is law.
I was actually thinking about the phrase "in my humble opinion" the other day, and I was like, my opinions are
never humble.
Never humble.
Never humble.
I was saying in my objectively superior opinion, I am OSO as opposed to I am
Yeah.
HO.
Yeah.
in my incredibly underinformed and extremely overconfident opinion.
Incredibly uninformed, extremely overconfident.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Robert's like they're trying to get him to do jury duty, and he was saying like he should not be on the jury because he will bulldoze everybody
Yeah.
into taking his side.
Well, I'm thinking of like 12 Angry Men, and it's like just one angry man.
engaged
and
hoe.
One sassy yapper. The problem is a whole jury can be thrown off by one sassy yapper, and you get me in there. Also, I'm such a contrarian. Like the inner contrarian in me would come out, where it's like someone could like be clearly guilty, and I might just be like, because everyone else is like they're guilty. I'd be like, I don't know. Seems like they're pretty obviously innocent.
You're the devil's advocate, kid.
I'd literally, if the devil's on trial, and I'm just like,
You're
eh,
gonna advocate.
I'm literally gonna advocate.
Period.
Robert really does like the song "Sympathy for the Devil" by the Rolling Stones, and every time we listen to it, I go rebuked.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah. Which, by the way, never gets annoying.
Remember when you said that you were gonna stop listening to secular music?
Okay, I actually, bruh, that is a bra moment.
That's why
That's
she-
a huge bra moment.
That's why Dana doesn't
That's
like
a bra
Tate
moment.
McRae. She's like, people are saying it's way too
secular.
secular, and that's why she'll never blow up. It's too secular.
I
it's
realized
like, what
that
worship
not
music have
listening
you
to
been
secular
listening to?
music is not what Jesus Christ is asking of me.
Okay. Okay.
that's
Well,
not what he
it
was
was at
asking.
one point.
I do think my favorite tweet I've ever seen, though,
What?
and again, I like Tate McRae, but my favorite tweet was someone like quote retweeting like a fan edit of Tate McRae, and they were like, and the tweet was, "Man, I just wish there was some way for me to support Tate McRae that wasn't listening to her music."
I knew what you were gonna say before you finished saying it. And I started laughing.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it. It was making me laugh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And And please keep us posted on all those sorts of inner thoughts.
Speaking of Abby Lee Miller making a police report, it reminded me of me calling to file a noise complaint on our neighbors last week.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Okay.
my God.
Back at it again.
Back at it again with the
some-
neighbor. Well, but last time it wasn't beef.
It was
with
the
them.
landlord.
It was beef with who
Yes.
owns their house. But this time it's beef with the tenants.
And let's say
okay?
this about the tenant, by the way. We had stuff we could have joked about the tenant about before, but out of respect, we didn't say
because
it.
the tenant
so
hadn't
respectful.
actively stepped on our toes yet.
No.
But then, all right. Well, let's say like what one of those things was when we met our tenant.
Yes.
They said hello to us, and they
Yeah.
went to me. The guy goes, "Hey, what's your name?" And I said Robert, and he goes, "Walpert?
Walbert? Why
Who's
would his name-
Walpert?
No one is Walbert.
Why would it be Walpert?"
And also, he was bald, and so we were saying strike one, bald. Strike
to
two, Walbert.
Strike
Strike
three.
three.
It's 12:30 in the morning on I think a weeknight.
No, it wasn't a weeknight.
Wasn't
it
a
was
weeknight?
a Saturday night.
All right, well,
But-
we want to get this right.
Regardless, bro. Also,
Regardless.
it's like this is a suburban ass neighborhood.
But it's 12:30 in the morning, and he's outside on his back patio blasting club music, like
uns to the fullest, like and it
Full
is
loud.
blasting. Also, Robert noticed it starting at 12:30. I was awoken at 4:30.
Now
a.m.
daylight savings did hit, so I guess
That's
technically it'd be 3:30, but still.
insane.
But it's not even like, oh, they started having a little get together at like 9, 10, 11 and just kept it going. It started at 12:30.
It started at 12:30.
And regardless of daylight savings, like I awoke, my phone said 4:30. I was taken aback. Okay.
And it was like a crazy decibel level.
And you can hear drunk women going, "Happy birthday!"
And do we sound like miserable losers who didn't get invited to any parties on Saturday? Yeah, of course.
Well, also,
but
and I know what you might be thinking, come on, Robert, your neighbor's young. Let him have fun. Our neighbor's old.
they're old,
And
I
he's
woke up-
bald.
I woke up so confused because I was like, "Wait, aren't they old? What's going on?"
you never think that this is going to be a problem when the people who move in are like at least
Older.
15 years your senior.
And bald.
And bald.
And I was saying, I'm sure that when Gargathon decided to rent to them, he was like, "Oh, like, you know, an older couple, like this will be fine. Like they'll be good tenants." Cut to.
Also, you know they're old because all of the club music they were listening to was like club remixes of like 2006 hit songs.
it
Like
was
Kanye, Gwen
2006 to
Stefani.
2009 was the sweet spot for them. It was
Yeah.
Kanye, Drake, Gwen.
And I just imagined, I didn't have to imagine, but I heard him, but I was picturing him over there just like bald, just like,
Just and the
12:30 in the
impression that Robert
morning.
was doing was literally boiling my blood because it was so accurate and I could just really see it and it was
Yeah.
making me upset.
What's wrong, Walbert?
What's wrong, Walbert?
What's wrong, Walbert?
Get over here. Come dance with us.
but also Eve thought about making a noise complaint, but she didn't. Now that I'm
No,
thinking
she
about
did.
it,
No, I
She
didn't.
called.
You did.
And then this.
So
yes.
so basically I
Remember?
Googled LA noise complaint number and it said there was like a department of noise control or whatever. So I called that number and I got like a voicemail that said their hours are 6 a.m. to 3 p.m.
What? Like when
And I'm
would?
like,
why would you need to complain about noise in that
Who is
window?
that?
yeah.
helping?
Are you
Who's
trying to
that
prevent
helping?
like rowdy brunches from
Literally.
happening?
But then also, the only thing they respond to is construction noise and noise from nightclubs. And like, they were giving nightclubs.
Yeah, what if they
so-
bring the nightclub home?
What if they bring the nightclub
At
home?
what point does a back patio become a
Become a
nightclub
nightclub?
if it's loud and annoying enough?
But what I'm getting is the people who run the ordinance office are big partiers.
They love
Yeah.
to rage.
They love to have a
guess
little
so.
house party.
and they
But-
hate brunch.
Anyway, so then that call didn't work out, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. If I come back and they're still partying, I'm calling the non-emergency number. But, you know, went to the bathroom, came back, they quieted down. I was like, okay, you're safe today. You're safe today.
Look, they're not crazy, you know. They'll tone things down around 4:30 in the morning.
Which is literally absurd.
I also imagine them probably thinking like, "Oh, the people next door to us, they're all young. They get it. They're young." And I'm like, "No, we don't get
we
it.
are losers.
And you're bald.
And we don't get it.
And you're very bald."
We have no party empathy. I've been calling the cops on parties since I was 15 years
Okay, and now
old.
Dana has gone to a place where I cannot follow
I'm
her.
not proud of
Dana
it.
has to include that she was a loser teen
Yeah,
at some point.
we're back. It's been a while.
It's been a while, but here we are.
Back again, back again.
But also, I just felt so funny that I'm literally 23 making a noise complaint on my 40-year-old neighbor.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you even mean?
Also, now that I think about it, though, I could make a noise complaint and it wouldn't even get back to me because the cops would be like, "Yeah, a guy named Robert made a noise complaint." He's like,
who's Robert?
"I only know Walpert. The only Robert I know is a Walpert."
But it also, it felt like neighbors
Yeah, but reverse.
with the frat.
Yeah,
except
we're
for
the
they're
young
old
people,
people.
and we're not noisy.
Yeah.
They're the old people and the noisy one.
But I'm just mad that they made me be an old hag. Like, they made me go Karen mode.
But again, I'm like, it's not even like they started this having like a little bit of a get together at like 10 or 11. It's like they started at 12:30 in the morning and it kept going.
And they're old.
And we'd hear
He's bald.
It would be like Hollaback Girl Club remix, and then I just hear a guy's voice like, "Oh yeah,
Not to mention, they're the kind of people who have like giant Jenga.
yeah."
Yeah.
They got a lot of toys, and we're like, I wonder if they have a
What did you
kid.
say? Like growing up is a choice, but getting old
Oh,
is.
it was
what
like one of those like posts from like back in the day on Instagram that was always popular was growing older isn't an option, but growing up is.
and they are the embodiment of
And they're
that.
Well,
and
as
they're
we
like,
moved in-
we're still cool.
Like-
Even though we're old, we still have fun.
We thought they had children when
Because
they
there's a
moved
ton
in,
of
because there's
toys.
ton
We saw a bunch of toys in
Yeah.
toy boxes.
But no, they're just like really fun millennials.
Well,
They're
it's
really
like it's
fun
like that. It's kind of like that
millennials.
moment in Prisoners where Jake Gyllenhaal like tracks a pedophile back to his house, and he calls him out for being a pedophile by being like, "You were buying children's clothes." He'd do that now, except for he'd be like, "You were buying children's toys." But the guy's not a pedophile. He's just
He's
so
just
annoying.
so immature.
He's just so annoying.
Just is a man child.
Like there's like a basket full of red, white, and blue mini basketballs.
and I'm like, this is not okay.
It's crazy.
That being said, if buying children's clothes
Is
is
illegal,
then you
Data's
just lock
going
me
to
up.
jail.
Then I'm
Jake
going to
Gyllenhaal's gonna
jail.
try to bust you. He's like, "You were buying children's
I'm like, they
clothes."
were for myself. He's like, you wouldn't fit in them. I'm like, I do.
Watch me.
They're like, "They're the only thing that's my size." He looks at you. He's like, "I think there's adult clothes that are your size."
Bruh.
But yeah, just, I mean, and whomst amongst us isn't having a little bit of stunted adolescence.
I like how now that we've brought the fact that you buy and wear children's clothes into it, suddenly you're on his side.
Suddenly you're like, wait.
Suddenly you're scaling the fence to join the club party
we
at
are
4:30
sitting
in the
a bed of
morning.
Stuffed animals going, he has toys.
That's
Yeah.
so real. That's so
Yeah.
real.
Well, I'm like, have your toys, call me Walpert, be bald, but
Yeah.
just keep it down
Keep it
after
down.
midnight.
Keep it down. Call him Walpert.
yeah, because we have
have
no
no
beef.
hair.
We
I
have
have
no
no
real
beef.
beef before the
Or
music.
if you're gonna throw a party, if you are, so again, let's just allow that. Maybe send a text that's like, "Hey, I'm gonna be having some people over tonight. Just letting you know. Let me know if it gets too loud. Be neighborly." But I also wonder if
Yeah.
it's like if it's they perceive us as being young and cool, they feel like they don't have to do
But we
that.
are not. We are,
We are
not young and cool.
We are not
But
young
we
and
were
cool.
also saying that like the guy definitely has a vibe of like he thinks that we think that he's cool.
Yeah.
And that pisses Eve off.
He thinks that we think, oh, he's like not one of those lame adults. He's cool. Like I bet he's like playing Hollaback Girl Club remix. Like
Thinking that we think
Yeah.
he's so cool.
if they hear this song playing, they're gonna know that I'm cool
and
and
little
with
does
it.
he know I'm calling the LA Noise Department.
And little does he know that we know he's bald.
yeah, you're not
You're a
getting one
bald man.
over on us.
You're a bald man,
We
sir.
can see.
Yeah.
But also he's proud. He's like, yeah, I'm bald and cool.
Also, not for nothing, he yells at his dogs.
Yes,
And all day, all
the
day.
time.
And here's the worst thing about when someone yells at their dogs, it's that like technically they're allowed to,
Yeah.
you know?
But it's like, why
like,
do you even have dogs? You're just gonna yell at them
he'll
all day.
yell at the dogs and we'll hear it. And again, I'm like, it makes me feel like there's like a DV situation going on,
With
but
the
there
dogs.
technically isn't.
What's dog violence?
But there's no violence.
Well, he's
it's
just
the
verbally
yelling.
abusing his
Yes.
dog.
Yeah.
And again, if you're watching this, sir,
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You're bald and I hate you. yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm not.
You're not.
Me in person, like.
Yeah. We talk such a
Me on the pod talking the biggest
well,
game
we
ever.
talk. We talk so much shit, but I know that if he bumped into me, he was like, "Hey, man, sorry about the noise a few nights ago." I'd be like, "Oh, I didn't even notice. Oh, I didn't even
You
notice."
play back this podcast clip, you'd be like, it seems like you
No.
noticed.
Me going, I put your bald and I hate
Yeah.
you. Meanwhile, IRL, I'm
Yeah.
like, hey,
He's
how's
like-
it going?
He's like, "Hey, I saw that podcast clip. Do we have beef?" And I'm like, "Beef, man, it's me. It's Walpert.
Walpert, it's me, Walpert.
It's
I
Walpert.
love what you're doing with this.
I love it. I love red, white, and blue mini basketball. I love playing. What's the thing where you throw bags through like a
Hacky sack. No,
what's
no,
not
no,
hacky
no.
sack? Cornhole.
Yeah.
It's very much like we're all 40, but we're playing cornhole wasted. So
Well, it is very much like college forever.
it's college forever.
Bruh.
It's college forever energy.
College forever. Yeah.
Wait, are
They're
they
playing music
Wait,
right
wait,
now.
wait. Do you hear that?
Oh my god, they're having.
Wait, this is crazy.
Oh my god, are they having another Saturday night
Wait,
party?
let me listen.
Yes.
I mean, it's definitely not as loud. Like before, it was so.
But the very
last
fact we can
weekend-
hear
no,
it.
but last weekend they started their party
No.
on Saturday, like early-ish.
It's as if they pre-gamed
Yeah.
going out and then they went out
didn't-
and
then they
came back.
and then they had another party.
Yeah.
I'm like, stay out. If you want to keep
Wait,
partying.
this is crazy, you guys. I think
Stay
I think they're
out.
doing round 2.
Yeah.
No, I thought their
Round
birthday was
2.
last week. Is
Dude,
it
that's
the
insane.
other person's birthday?
Dude, what if this is every Saturday?
Yeah.
Then I don't feel bad.
Well, yeah.
I never felt bad. For
Eve
the
never
record.
felt bad.
But
And I
that's
didn't feel
crazy
bad.
that
And you didn't
actually-
feel bad until you saw him as a kindred spirit after realizing that you also don't
you
want to grow
do.
old because you also buy and wear children's clothes.
Right. But I'm like, that's crazy that they're literally playing music right now.
That's literally nuts. Also, here's my thing. If you want to be like a I'm young party guy forever, you got to get your money up. You got to get your
Yeah,
money up
Steve,
because
you
you
can't
have
live here,
fine.
bruh.
You have to live in like a compound with noise canceling walls where you're far away from other people. I'm sorry, but like if you're like on top of other people, they can hear you.
This is a damn suburban neighborhood.
You don't get to be party guy. You don't get to do frat house stuff. Also, you're bald.
Also, you're bald.
You're very bald.
No offense to our bald young oldenators. We love
Yeah,
you.
if you're bald,
No,
and
there's
you're young
great
older, we're-
dignity in being bald.
100%.
But this
To
guy
be so clear.
sucks.
Stone Cold Steve Austin, Michael Jordan, Sinead O'Connor. Although she had a buzz cut. She wasn't really bald. Michael Jordan, though. Stone Cold Steve Austin. We love bald.
And bald
Steve
adjacent.
Harvey.
Steve
Yes.
Harvey. Eve is a big
Dr.
Steve
Phil.
Harvey. Eve is a Dana when she plays Enola Bezos.
She's an old face.
We're not against bald, but it's
No.
just like it doesn't go with. If you're bald,
guy
you
sucks,
can't do
man. This guy
12:30
sucks.
partying.
You can't. No, 4:30. 4.
Well, it started at 12:30. And again, I was like reading my book. Like I was reading my book with my book light, and so I'm trying to have kind of a relaxing vibe, and I'm hearing the and I'm like, surely this has to be a mistake.
It has to be a mistake. It does feel surreal when it happens. That being said, I think if tonight this is a problem, how we should combat this is we should just blast this episode of Young Old really loud
That's so
Yeah.
real.
in response.
That's so real. So he knows how we feel.
Fight the noise with more noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we both get noise complaints. And it's like we're both sent to the principal's office.
Yeah.
We both get in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, we were saying we were going to send Walpert in undercover.
Yeah.
Yeah. To
Pretend
go party
like,
with
be
him.
a party guy.
But then Walpert gets too deep undercover
Yeah.
and he actually becomes really good friends with this man, and Walpert also becomes a victim of I may be growing old but I'm not growing up culture.
Yeah. You walk into the bedroom after a few weeks and then you look and you see like in my bag is like a little red, white, and blue mini basketball. And you see and there's like a trail of hair on the floor and you follow it and you see me like shaving my head.
Yeah.
Being like, oh yeah, by the way, the neighbor's having a few people over. I had to hesitate because the way I almost said his full government name.
Yeah.
The way I almost said
Right.
his
Let's
full
do
government
it.
name and social security
Yes.
number.
Let's do it.
It's also so funny because Eve's all like, let's do it. I don't give a fuck. I know for a fact no one would shrink more from a social interaction.
Me seeing him IRL, like,
Yeah. Eve talks a big game, but
I'm
she's,
cowardly.
Yeah.
she's a big coward. for
She's a
sure.
huge coward. Well, also Eve is actually, she's quite nice, which is hilarious.
Yeah,
she's
she's
actually
like too sweet. Her
not-
energy's really welcoming. Like this little kid on our block is always trying to hug her and,
And
shit.
always
No,
trying,
he's grown
he
out of
succeeds.
that.
Yeah, but he
Okay.
Grown
succeeded.
out of that.
Yeah, but Eve will go out. She'll
he
have
already
great
got it.
conversations
He
with
already
people.
got it.
He got the goods.
He got the good.
he hugged it and quit it.
Yeah.
Quit it.
Yeah. But Eve goes
You
out.
put
She has
out-
Eve has great interactions with people. She's
No,
so
I'm a
charming and
mean
polite.
bitch.
And then she comes back into the house and she's like, people kept trying to talk to me. Oh yeah? What'd you do when they tried to talk to you? I talked
talked
to them back and had a
20
great
minutes.
interaction with them. Gave them a parting hug.
Also, Biter's too friendly. He makes people love us.
Yeah.
It's hard to have such a social pub.
Yeah.
But also, I've been going to a lot of workout classes, and then I come home and I relay the
Yeah.
info. Like, I mean,
Well, Eve's
obviously,
been
I've
going
talked
to through.
about-
She's been going to a lot of
Well,
workout
Eve's
classes.
been going to 2 workout classes a day, basically.
For the deal. She's basically
Yeah.
signing up for every like workout class promotion she can angle, and then to get the most out of it, she's going to like 2 a day. Eve's gonna get jacked as hell
Yeah.
just for being thrifty.
Watch the space, young old.
But it's actually not like it's still money. It's just less money than it would be. If,
Yeah.
Okay, you get it. Anyways.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, so I've talked about the stinkies, but recently I went to Solid Core and there was a couple next to me before the class started, and they were on like the 2 machines next to each other. And they were not behaving themselves, okay? This man, first of all, there's hardly ever a straight man, let alone a couple next to each other at Solid Core. He was straight up smacking her ass.
That Pilates ass.
That Pilates
Tight
ass
tone Pilates
on
ass.
the reformers next to each other. And I was so, like, my mouth was agape. I was like, I can't believe this is happening. You can't do, obviously, I wasn't saying anything. I was sitting there quietly, minding my business. But the things I was thinking and the shit I talked when I got home.
When she got home.
And I'm like, the instructor should have separated
the shit
them.
she talked when she was safely home and out of
The
earshot.
instructor should have separated them and said, you have lost reformer next to each other privileges.
Because he was smacking his girlfriend's
touching
ass.
the person on the other reformer.
And by the way, Eve is the same person who a few episodes ago talked about how her soul cycle instructor will give her a little rump tickle on the way out.
So it's fine.
So it's
Instructor
fine.
on student physical interaction is fine, but student on student.
Student on student is no.
Imagine
Not okay.
if across the bikes, if the bikes next to each other and they're slapping rumps.
Yeah.
Well, I was saying maybe
You're
Robert
gonna
and I
start
will
doing
get
that.
into this.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was something people
I
were
didn't know it was
doing.
an option. Yeah.
And now that I'm wise to it.
I mean, maybe that's...
Watch out! Watch out! She's slapping rumps at
Yeah.
Soul
Well, the
Cycle
way I
next
can
time.
picture what type of couple would be into this sort of thing, and it's like, it would be this thing of if Dana and I tried doing it, they'd call the cops.
No, literally.
We would be escorted out, kicking
mean,
and screaming from
I
Seoul.
wanted to call the cops on them, though. I thought it was horrifying.
It seems like other people's behavior is really grating on you these days.
Well, that is just like, what on earth? What do you mean you're slapping ass at Solid Core? What?
I have to be honest though, to me though, like that to me is consistent with who I imagine going to Solid Core in LA. It's
No,
like
it's
fitness
not.
couples. It's fitness
not,
couples smacking
okay?
ass.
No,
it's not. Solid
it's
Core is
not
very
like
much
that.
like it's female leaning. Like it's like mostly just girls.
Like I said, there's
Yeah.
I've never seen a straight man in there, let alone a couple, let alone smacking ass.
yeah.
Yeah.
Across the reformers.
Reaching through the machinery to smack ass.
I'm just like, this is so not okay. It's not okay. Those people need to be banned.
Maybe that's what your jury trial was about.
It's an 18-week trial of her smacking
Yeah.
ass in Solid Core.
Yeah.
And I'd love to be in that jury. But then you would be team them.
Well, I would literally wait to see what the consensus was and then just go the opposite.
I think that in a free country that should be allowed.
No.
No, well, I do
But
think
I think
if
it
it's a
should be
couple, if it's a couple.
Yeah, as long as like
it's
the
not like
woman's
they're
like, hey,
fucking.
stop
But what
that.
about me? No, she was into it. That's
Yeah.
what was disgusting
"Ah!"
about them.
She's like, yeah,
She was very much like it was very much like,
yeah.
and you slapping my ass at Solid Core. Like, guys, go home. Like, what? Don't you have a house?
Yeah. What if after they? What if as soon as
Maybe they don't because they're spending all their money on Solid Core.
Maybe they're homeless.
What if after they smack ass? After they smack
Smack
ass.
ass on the street.
What
I
if
don't
they
know.
smack ass and then they get up and leave? They didn't even want to do the
They
class.
just do the class.
Yeah.
They book a reformer just to smack ass and
Yeah.
go once the class starts.
They're like, oh, the reformer's perfect for ass smacking.
Yeah.
Legree Pilates, exactly where you
Yeah.
want to be, hitting rumps. Okay, wait, I have to pee.
Eve's walking around these days, but like these grown adults these days, they're listening to loud music and they're smacking ass.
They really took the growing old is not an option, growing up is post way too seriously.
Yeah.
They're out here throwing parties till 4 a.m., smacking ass in the Pilates class.
Now,
You all need to get some decorum.
Now, I will say it's obviously these are completely different couples. That being said, our neighbor who was playing the music, him and his significant other do
Give
vibe
that
like
they
the
would
type of
slap
couple who would
ass
smack
at
ass.
Solid
They
Core.
do.
They'd smack ass.
They like tan partially nude on their balcony. That
Partially
faces the
nude,
street.
so not nude. Partially nude. The parts that are nude are the clothes they're wearing, so not nude.
You're right.
Come on.
I guess like baby
Everyone's
cannon.
all-
Baby
everyone's
cannon on the
all-
deck.
always partially nude.
Partially
Yeah, that's
nude.
tea.
It's like how I'm naked under my clothes. I have to
Right.
pee. Should I bring my
Okay.
mic with me? Just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For Dana's pee corner.
Data's TV corner. 1 second.
Okay, I'll pee too.
And then I can have my moment. Okay, I don't know who these two women are. I literally have no idea. I came by this house trying to sell some Listerine door to door. I was a Listerine salesman. They invited me in and then they locked the door behind me and I've been trapped in here ever since. They started calling me chubs. I don't understand that. I don't get it at all. Please. Oh, hi, Dana. I wasn't saying anything. Oh, yeah. What if I did a little singing clip and that went viral and then we had to rebrand as a singing pod? Dude, earlier today, Eve asked Dana and I if we were going to the gym today. So basically to ask if we could take her to the gym. And then Dana said, well, I'm not going, but Robert's going. And Eve was like, oh, well, then I don't want to go.
Like Eve didn't want to be alone in the car with Robert for literally 5 minutes. It takes 5 minutes to go to the gym.
Also, again,
And
it
Eve
should
was
be
like,
noted,
"Frick it."
Eve and I have spent more, I'm in like the top not 1 percentile or 99th percentile, whatever the thing is that's the most, of people Eve has spent the most time with.
Like, it's not like Eve is a social butterfly.
Yeah.
Like, Robert is like really up there.
And yet
in
the
terms of-
idea of having to endure a minute and a half car ride.
It's like so close. Like, the car ride is so short.
Yeah, and by the way, that instinct Eve has to like, well, I don't want to have to like talk to Chubbs. That seems to fly out the window when she's got a Trisha Paytas or Tana Mojo take to let rip in the middle of the day.
Talk to anyone who will listen about Trisha Paytas or Tana.
I'll be typing on my laptop and Eve will storm in, slam the screen shut on my fingies and say, you won't believe what Trisha's gotten herself into.
Okay, when I first like get up and I'm listening to Trisha or Tana or whatever, I'm going and I'm making my brekkie in the kitchen, and who is nearest with ears but Chubbs in the adjoining dining room working on his laptop. And I gotta tell someone about these things.
Tell them about your earrings.
Oh, I bought these earrings yesterday from a girl that was vending at a punk show I went to with my friend. And once I bought them from her, like, I mean, there was nobody else around. So I was like, I don't know how we even got on the topic of Trisha Paytas, but like, she knew who she was. So I was like, oh, hell yeah. If you know who she is, like, I finna be talking. And I gave you $5 for the earrings. So like, this is now the Trisha therapy
But
session.
I was saying
You're
therapy
welcome.
labor for vendor prices.
Yeah. Also, Eve's like, I don't know how we got on the topic of Trisha Paytas.
I'm sure I just brought
I don't
it up
know.
out of the blue.
I would bet Eve brought Trisha Paytas up totally unprompted.
Probably. Yeah, I really don't remember how we got there, but we did.
That reminds me of that meme on TikTok where it's like you say something like, oh, Trisha Paytas. And then the other person's like, oh, yeah, I love Trisha. And then the other person's like, yeah, but all the problematic stuff, blah, blah, blah. And the other person like has a blank face because they're not terminally online.
Well, to
Like,
me, that reminds me of all those like motivational sales TikTok accounts where they're like getting aggressive to like a conference room full of men. Be like, if you're trying to move a product and they say they enjoy Trisha Paytas, what do you say? You say you listen to Just Trish every single day and you love her and Oscar's banter.
The way that I would be sold.
Yeah, the way that
I'd be
like
sold. But we started talking about it after I bought the earrings.
Yeah.
So.
And so that's part of the sale.
Oh, okay. So she talks
it's all
to me
part
about
of the
Trisha
sale.
Also
afterwards.
to make a return customer.
Yeah.
Right.
You're more likely to come back if you
That's
know
so real.
that-
Like if I see her again,
Yeah.
I'd be
Yeah.
like,
Trisha. And she'd be like, I don't
and
even
she'd
know
be
how
like,
that is.
yeah.
The sale isn't over when you close the sale, because when you close the sale, that's when you need to say how you think Trisha and Moses are goals. Reel them in for the next pair of earrings they want to buy. And it's that like girl just taking notes like,
And it worked. And the earrings are really cute.
how much do they cost if you don't mind me asking?
$5.
That hardest $5 that girl's ever made.
Also, because I was talking about like going to the live shows, and she was like, "Yeah, I would go to more stuff like that, but I just don't really have the funds." Because she's only charging $5 for Trisha therapy
She should
sessions.
be charging more for Trisha therapy sessions.
I will say, I mean, that sounds like a pretty good, I mean, I bet she was just talking to you, but that would be a really great sales tactic with you to be like, yeah, I just wish, I sold a little more jewelry because then I could go to the Trisha Paytas live shows. And you pulling out every credit card she has.
But then I hit her with canceled was $10, which is true. It was $10 to see the canceled live show.
Because ultimately she didn't actually want to go. She didn't want to spend her hard-earned earring money.
Yeah,
because that's two
obviously.
pairs of earrings.
Yeah,
That's tea. That's tea. That's two girls talking to her about Trisha.
And it is ultimately a niche special interest.
Yeah.
Yes, ultimately.
Yes.
But the earrings are nice.
Yeah. The earrings look great. Did anyone have any topics?
Yes, I do.
I mean, my topic was ass slapping on the reformers.
Yeah.
Which is not okay, by the way, guys. If you do that or know anybody who does that,
Yeah.
you need to spank them. Not at Solid Core, but just spank them.
Yeah.
The spankers
If
in
you
your
see
life.
people at
Yeah,
Solid
yeah.
Core spanking each other, you need to
You
say,
need to
excuse
spank
me, can you
them.
step
Yeah.
outside so I can give you a spanking
Away from the
for
group.
your spanking?
Let me show you a
Away from
spanking
the class.
sign, not on the reformer.
Not there.
Not there.
In a dark closet.
Yeah. Spanking is not for the Pilates room.
Huh, it's really interesting. All I have written down, and I assume this is an Eve topic, I just have
What?
soul cycle fart. Does that mean anything to you?
That was something I saw on Reddit. That was something I saw on Reddit, which was it was like, hey, I was writing at this place today, and everybody kept leaving the class. Why did this happen? And someone was like, someone kept farting, and people couldn't take it anymore.
Clearly, the person who kept farting was the person who asked, "Hey, where'd everybody go?"
I just love people couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, my greatest fear is just letting a fart rip in Soul Cycle.
Why is that a fear? You can control that.
No. Those
Well,
tap backs. What if he goes too hard on a tap back and it
Do the
rips
tap
out?
backs, dude. Also like the tap backs.
What if you spank him and it comes out?
Or what if, because in every Soul Cycle, they have like kind of a slower, like catch your breath, like get into your mind song where it's kind of a little quieter and the lights
if
are
he
off.
relaxes
What
too
if I relax
much?
a little too hard and just let one rip?
What then?
What then? It would be also, especially because as Eve said, straight guys don't go to these sorts of classes a lot. So I feel like I'm representing the straight guys here.
Right.
They don't think that. Don't worry.
Yeah, I know no one else believes.
Don't worry, they
I know
don't think
straight guys
that.
are like, yeah, we're probably gonna need some other representation just in case, bud. But yeah, I go there and I'm like, I can't be farting because then they'll be like, yeah, when guys come to Soul Cycle, they're always just like farting and meh.
Famously, one time I saw a straight guy humiliate himself at
Oh,
Soul Cycle when I mean it was the instructor you guys don't like, who is he's doing a lot, you know? And so after the weight portion, the guy, like, he was just kind of sitting there looking defeated and sad, and the instructor was like, hey, like, what's going on, man? And he was like, I can't, and then he just like got off his bike and like left the room.
Brutal.
And then
Really
afterwards,
embarrassing.
when we all left the class, I was like taking my shoes off, and I was sitting right next to him, and then his girlfriend had come to like sit next to him and comfort him, and she was like, you know, kind of patting him on the back like a little baby, and he was like shaking his head to her like, yeah, it was really hard.
But we were joking that she brought him there so she could break up with him.
Dude.
Like, she brought him there so he'd be so humiliated.
Right.
Well, to me, it very clearly, what I'm imagining is he spent a lot of times like being like,
Shit-talking.
oh yeah, Soul Cycle, that's not a real workout. You don't even, the weights aren't even that heavy. And then he gets in there and dies. It's just like, dude.
And then obviously the instructor also was doing like, hey man, like no worries, like yeah, it's really tough, like especially after the weights, like
I mean, like, if you're getting told that by a Soul Cycle instructor, it's seppuku.
Yeah.
You have to, it's
I
over.
was just watching this man get repeatedly belittled and kicked in the balls, and
yeah.
And also I was like, why was he waiting like right outside where we could all see him be humiliated? Like I would have
Maybe
ran
that's
away.
his kink.
Maybe.
Let's hope so. Let's hope it's a kink
I
thing.
hope.
I see a straight guy embarrassing and shaming himself in Soul Cycle, and I'm like, this better be a kink thing.
But it was just the worst, like sitting next to them and seeing the girlfriend like seeing like, are you okay? And him being like, it was really hard.
Dude. And again, you're shaming all of us.
Oh my god.
You're shaming all
and
of
then
us.
Robert was saying that he was really bringing down the straight guy community
Yeah.
by doing that.
Also, it's just
But
like,
luckily they have Robert with his fart.
luckily they have me. They don't claim me.
But they have
They have me
you.
though. I'm up there.
I mean, that's the meme that hot girls always post where they're like about to crop dust this mall and no one will ever suspect it's me. It's
like, girl, we know it's you.
Also, can I say this? Guess what, hot girls? We know you're stinky.
That's
We
what I'm
just don't
saying.
say
That's
it
what I'm
because you're hot.
saying. Yeah,
It's
we
not
know
like
it's
no
you,
one
queen.
notices because you're
We know
hot.
it's
No one
you.
says it.
We know
That's
it.
Yeah.
so real.
Guys
We
are like,
know
man,
it's you. We just don't say it.
Man,
We
guys
know
are like,
it's
man,
you.
I'm gonna need to take a shower after I hopefully fuck this stinky hot girl.
We know
Wait,
it's
that's so
you.
real. For the longest time, I was like, do men not smell? And I'm like, no,
No,
they
they
just like have
smell.
different priorities.
Yeah.
Their priorities are askew.
Yeah.
Askew.
Like for me, if someone smells bad, I'm out. For guys, if someone smells bad, it's like, are they hotter than they smell bad?
Oh, so okay, this might be a little crass.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna work blue for a minute.
Okay,
but
work
but it's
blue.
also like hot girls will be like, oh my god, like when guys hook up with me, I'm so hot. They like come so fast. It's like, yeah, they come fast on purpose so they can get away from your stinky body.
Ew.
That was really, yeah. That was
disgusting.
Was that too
gross.
much?
No, I mean, I'm gonna keep it in.
Well,
but you did work blue.
I
I
mean,
want the young oldinators to know I don't stand by that.
Yeah.
We don't endorse that or promote
Yeah.
it, but I'm gonna
Endorse
keep
that.
it in so you
Yeah.
guys can decide for yourselves what you think
I don't
about that.
even.
yeah.
I don't even know who this is.
Yeah, she didn't want to be alone in a car with him.
No, now you see why.
No, it's all about say stuff like that.
Now you see why. Also, what I was saying about the car thing is I was like, okay, the three of us going to the gym.
Right there was, by the way, the comedic equivalent of that guy who had to leave Soul Cycle. That was like the joke
It's really
riffing
hard in
equivalent
here.
of just
It's
like,
really hard on young adults.
I'm like, it's just so hard.
It's always the pat on the back.
Hey,
One time I was at
it's
an
half after weights.
one time
It's rub after
One
weights,
time I was at an
buddy.
open mic and I saw a guy go up, and clearly it was his first time doing stand up. And he went up at this comedy club. It was the West Side Comedy Theater, great
yes,
comedy theater.
yes.
And his girlfriend was sitting right in front of me watching him. And he went up, bombed so hard and so embarrassingly. And he was like getting nervous, bombed so hard that after he got off stage, he sat next to his girlfriend. There was like a pause of silence. And then she just leaned over and went, "That was really funny."
No!
And I'm like,
That's
yeah,
so brutal.
God, there's so many men being belittled out here.
being belittled.
It is hard. We back on this. It's hard to be a man sometimes.
Yeah. Like sometimes you make a joke.
Over it.
Sometimes you make a joke about stinky hot girls having guys come too fast and
stop
not
saying
realizing it's
it.
because they're stinky.
Stop repeating it. It's not going to get funnier the more you do it.
But that's Robert's whole.
I know
The whole
he thinks if he
shtick.
drills it in.
Yeah.
He thinks if he beats that
Robert
horse.
thinks something unfunny time 1 will be funny by time 8.
I
not.
do believe
And
that.
sometimes it's true. No,
Sometimes it is true.
Sometimes it does take the
It's
eighth
the
time.
Family Guy
Sometimes
principle.
Eighth times is
Sometimes
the
the eighth time is. Now, I'm not going to put that to the test here.
No.
But there is that voice in the back of my head that's just like, the problem was you didn't try it 12 times in a row.
Well, repetition can be comedic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we try it?
no.
No.
By the way, Eve's
Maybe
been-
I can just I'll just clip it. I'll just do it like 8 times.
that
I'll
would
just
be
copy
so
paste
much
the
worse.
joke 8 times.
You keep editing it in as a transition.
Yeah.
Instead of the theme song.
Eve's been watching Family Guy.
Hilarious
Just
show.
She's just
reruns,
back to
'cause I don't
Family
really
Guy.
have like a,
A
show
show
that
right
I'm
now.
watching, so
Yeah.
just kind of watching old Family Guy.
It is funny because like if you just put Eve's like behavior in like bullet points, you would think that like each bullet point was from a wildly different age group. It's like she watches Family Guy all day, but also
she cooks elaborate meals for herself.
but also she hates it when there's too much noise coming from the neighbors, and she hates it when these young couples show PDA in public.
I don't understand
But also
how
she
those
watches
things are
Family Guy.
different.
she does 2 workout classes a day, but
What?
she
Because
hates
like you're saying,
her.
like our neighbor probably also watches Family Guy.
No, I'm just
Or
saying
No,
like
he's just saying you have a lot of like a myriad of traits that don't seem to go together.
yeah, you have traits that like, well, that's
You're
like
a
something like an
walking
old lady would do,
contradiction.
and then you have other traits where I'm like, that's what a 12-year-old boy would do.
Oh, I'm like they all go together.
Well, yeah, because
Well, 'cause you're you.
To me.
Eve's also just like ripping farts all day. That's like 10-year-old boy stuff.
and she's traveling farts.
I was the oh
There have
yeah.
been-
Well, so I'll try and be polite.
Yeah.
And
This is the grossest podcast of all time.
not as gross as whatever he said. That was disgusting.
Well, let's put it to the test. Tell your fart story.
and be polite, okay, and fart in the hallway. But then once I start walking back to the room, the gust of wind of my walk travels it with me back to the room, and then my efforts to be polite have not worked.
So she farts in the hallway, then she walks into our room, and the gust of wind from her
Yeah.
walk brings the fart smell in after her.
But look,
It
at least I'm
follows her.
honest, okay? Dana goes, "Did Biter fart?" And I said, "No, I carried it in from the hall."
Yeah.
because that's the kind of person I am.
Because the gust of
Trustworthy.
wind.
She's honest.
Yeah.
Above all things.
Honest.
Yeah. But
I'm not
just
just gonna blame it on Biter for no
But
reason.
just there is what I'm talking about. Like that kind of like fart story is what you'd expect to hear from like a middle-aged coal miner in Kentucky.
Actually, that is
but instead
something
it was from
my
you.
boyfriend says I have the farts of a grown man.
Wild.
He's like, that was a grown man.
Yeah.
50-year-old man.
Yeah.
fart.
So there you go. Your farts are those of a 50-year-old man.
Yeah.
But I would argue that like it's a misconception that 50-year-old men have the worst farts because I literally think it's hot girls who eat weird things. Like
Yeah.
True.
No,
LA.
seriously, I always think about that where it's like,
What's
no,
the whole
yeah.
stomach issue
Well, people like
thing?
hot girls have stomach problems. It's like, no, you're eating
Hot
like
girls have
sea
stomach
moss. You're
problems.
only eating sea moss.
You
all
only eat
day.
sea moss,
Yeah.
You're
babe.
eating a sea moss. Of course, your farts smell weird.
You have a protein-infused algae smoothie from
Yeah.
Erewhon.
and then that's all you.
And
eat
then
all
you're gonna
day.
let it rip in the Grove.
Yeah.
You're gonna wage chemical warfare on the Grove.
Waging chemical warfare in the Grove.
Agent Orange has nothing on whatever's
Yeah.
going on at the Grove.
Yeah. Well, because it used to be like, oh man, these middle-aged men, they have the worst farts because they're just, drinking beer and coffee and eating beans. And it's like, yeah, but that has nothing on like whatever is going into the Erewhon smoothies that modern day hot girls
So
are
real.
Hot girls are
consuming.
eating like
So
raw.
real.
There we go.
I just hope they get this whole music thing out of their system before tonight.
They should have gotten this whole music thing out of their system by the time they graduated college.
Agreed.
So if it's not out of their system now, it's like, it's part of their
Agreed.
system. I do also like how
I had a theory the other day where I'm like, I think there's a certain amount of like party days in your lifetime where partying can only be fun for so many times.
It's
Like,
supposed to be.
Every person has like a set amount. Like, because I was thinking about how I'm like, no, I don't like partying, but I'm like, but I like drank a lot in like high school and like early college. Maybe I just like got it out of my system.
Well-
but I'm like, maybe they just like,
well,
I
the
don't know.
people who
Cap is
party
clearly much higher.
The people
Maybe.
who party hardest, though, as adults, they're the ones who never got to party in
Yeah,
college. They're the
I
ones who
don't
weren't invited to
believe
the
that
stuff.
about them. I
I
believe,
low-key do.
really? You
'Cause-
don't think they were like fratting it up?
But my vibes is they're the uncool member of the frat. My vibes is like you're in the frat, but you're not like the cool guy in the frat.
I suppose.
You're like the little short guy who kind of hangs around, and
Like,
so you're
you got hazed
adjacent to
through senior
partying.
year
You're
vibe.
adjacent. Yeah, the freshman hazed you for some
Yeah,
reason.
yeah,
And now you got to party until you're 50.
Yeah.
That's
And
kind
we
of
have
my
to suffer
vibe.
for it.
Yeah, I do think it is just like no, it shouldn't be fun to you.
I think that's really true.
It
I think,
shouldn't
I
be
think
fun.
What is fun should change as you get older. Like there's developmentally appropriate fun.
And even like the frat guys who like party hard is like they age out of it and then they just like drink beers on the golf course.
yeah,
That's what they do. And then they commit financial crimes at work and they drink beers on the
Yeah.
golf course. And that's where their party energy evolves to.
And that's age appropriate. And you
Yeah.
should strive to be like them, the
Yeah.
financial criminals.
You should
who
be
are
a
playing
financial
golf.
criminal
so
by
much
now.
rather prefer they were doing financial crime.
Because the thing
over
about
there.
financial crimes is
Yeah.
they're quiet
They're
as
quiet.
a church mouse.
There you go.
In fact, they actively don't want you to know what they're doing.
Although Jordan Belfort was very loud while he was doing financial crimes.
Yes, he was.
Remember when he flung midgets, dwarves? What did he call them?
I mean, he for sure called them the worst things you could call them, I assume.
But remember when he flung them at targets?
Yeah.
what?
That's in the movie.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
No, it's
What?
not. Just kidding. That's not funny.
Yeah.
That's not funny. Also, I do think
Yeah,
that
Jordan Belfort, but that was kind of his problem.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah,
I'm
he was
saying-
too
I'm
loud.
saying he was
He
a
was-
loud financial criminal.
Well, that's why
But
there's
I'm
a
saying
movie
most-
about him. It's because he
most
was a loud financial
criminals
criminal.
are very quiet and they're not having that much fun.
And that's why they get away with it for so long.
Yeah.
That was the real problem with Jordan Belfort. They're like, hey, can you keep it down? It really was a noise complaint that did him in.
But also, how evil do you have to be where like you're committing financial crimes that really disproportionately affect like hardworking people, and you're not even having fun about it?
Yeah.
Like at least Jordan
At least he
Belfort
was
is, like,
having a good
he was
time.
having a good time with it. I'm like, you're so evil that you're doing evil shit, and you're just like sitting
And you're not
quietly
even having fun.
being like, I'm evil.
Yeah.
Like that's
Right.
freaky.
That's freaky.
So real.
That's
They just
all.
sit there going, I'm evil.
Like they don't even have a good time about it.
Yeah.
Like that's weird.
I mean, yeah. They're boring. They have like a
Yeah.
boring, their lives are as boring as if they just followed the law.
So real. So it's like, just follow the law then.
Just follow the law then.
But I guess it's like they have a lot of money. They need a lot of money because they have wives like in the OC. Like we talk about Julie Cooper.
Yeah.
Where we talk about, if you're not familiar, in the OC, Jimmy Cooper is a character who commits financial crimes because he has a very high maintenance wife and daughters.
And it had me at 12 years old being like,
Robert
it's
was
her
so
fault.
stressed.
Well, it had me stressed as fuck for Jimmy Cooper.
Yeah.
Because also I'm like, oh man, Jimmy Cooper's in trouble.
Well, Robert also talked about how, like, when watching TV and movies as a child, one of his worst fears was like one of his like biggest pet peeves was when rich people lose all their money.
Yes.
Like he really hated that. I hated
think
that too.
I think it's a very uniquely middle class anxiety where you're just
Yeah.
like, it would really stress me out when rich people in TV shows lost all their money. Well, to me, it's the financial equivalent of like when superheroes lose their powers.
I
That would
hate when
always stress me
superheroes use
out.
their power.
I
Rich
hate
people
it.
losing their money is the same thing. Like
To me, yeah.
I mean, I always like really the episodes of TV that imprinted most on me were episodes like where rich people lose all their money. Like for example, the London Tipton.
I was just thinking of that. I
Like
was
in the
just
films, like
thinking
when
of
London
that.
Tipton loses all
I
her money,
was just
and she has to go
thinking
live
of
like
that.
Maddie.
Yeah.
And I literally am like, that is so sad.
The thing is, I don't want London Tipton to lose all her money.
No.
I want her to be rich.
Or in Arthur, there's an episode where Muffy gets poor.
Wait, I
and
don't
I'm like,
remember that.
Yeah, because
Arthur, like the aardvark? Like
Yeah.
yes, like the
Oh.
PBS cartoon.
I didn't know they
Dana
dealt with
and I
that
are
sort of
both
stuff.
Muffy.
But we're such Muffies. Like we're such Muffies. And Muffy lost all her money.
We're both Muffy, but I treat you like you're Francine.
You do treat me like I'm Francine.
Yeah. Arthur
But
head,
you
sound
only
off in the comments.
But you only even know to be Muffy because I said we're Muffy.
Whatever.
Dude, Arthur is
Shoot.
literally tearing families apart.
Bro, Arthur.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Answer
Arthur
for
meme, the anger
this.
fest.
Oh, yeah, the anger
Yeah.
for me.
Well, it's like when they're like, because like they seem to think like, ooh, what would London Tipton be like if she was poor? It's like she wouldn't be like London Tipton.
No.
That's not what I want. It's like when like I remember there's a Superman movie where Superman loses powers, and then it just has him like getting the shit kicked out of him by just like four regular guys.
It's like, why would
What
I want
is
to see
this?
that? What's happening?
I don't want to see
Why
this.
would I want to see that?
Yeah.
This is not Superman.
Or like yeah, in Uptown Girls, she loses all her money, same deal. But I think the takeaway from all of those things is like that these rich people, even when they lose all their money, they're still rich inside.
They're so rich inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it never really leaves you.
Yeah.
Well, see, in Smallville, not only did Clark lose his powers, like another random dude got them. And I was like,
No.
not the random dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clark is powerless, but he's still hot.
He is still
He's
hot.
still hot, which is the biggest
Can we just say
superpower of
something?
all.
No one's casting people like Tom Welling in their TV shows anymore.
Yeah.
Like that was like one of the last like truly hottie hots that was like in a network TV show.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
They said they
what?
maxed out after that.
Yeah.
They maxed out. No more
Like, they
hotties.
didn't
more
even try to find
hotties.
like who is the next Tom Welling. We don't
He's
have
the
one.
last hottie
Noah
standing.
Centineo is not a Tom Welling.
Noah Centineo is not Tom Welling.
No.
Jacob Elordi seems
No,
to intentionally
no.
not be trying to be Tom Welling.
Yeah, but even then, Jacob Elordi is like he's too tall. Dude, there's something actually like, to me really off-putting about like guys who are like a little too tall.
Yeah. Tom Welling actually, he's 4'9". And that's a huge
As
part of his
all good
charm.
Hollywood men should be.
Well, that's how him and Lex Luthor would square up. He'd be like, "Oh, Lex, I'm gonna get ya."
Lex, another
Right.
iconic baldy.
Another iconic baldy, and that guy was not bald in real life. He has
I
hair.
know.
That's commitment, by the way.
Oh, he shaved his head.
He shaved his head.
Just like I will.
When
to be
you
Enola
play Enola
Bezos.
Bezos.
He was a good-looking Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
the
He
one
was.
in
He was a
Smallville.
great Lex Luthor.
Well, he
That's
also-
Smallville is an iconic
Yeah.
show.
Well,
He-
because everybody's hot.
Everyone's so hot.
Even bald Lex.
The least hot character is the Nixium Colt girl, and I always thought that she was not
The
hot.
Nixium
And
girl.
hate
I also
that they
never got
tried
her
to-
deal.
Is that
Allison.
the best friend?
the blonde
but she's
hair.
like supposed to be like pining after Clark, and Clark doesn't
Yeah.
give a fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes
But
sense
obviously
because Lana
Clark's
exists.
because Clark's love interest is hot as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he has multiple hot love interests.
Yeah.
Right. But then obviously he's never. Or wait, does he go for her?
I think
He goes for
does.
Lois,
does.
right?
No,
He goes for
but
Lois
in
in
the
the
end.
end.
No, but he also goes for
Lana
at some
Lang? Is it
point.
Lana Lang?
No,
No,
Chloe is her
Chloe
name.
is her
the
name.
blonde one.
Oh.
But then obviously, but Lois
Allison
is
Mack.
hot. Lois is hot.
Yeah.
Lana's
Yeah,
hot.
the girl who plays Lois is really hot. The girl who plays Lana is really hot.
And I mean, it's like, yeah, she wasn't hot because she was in a cult apparently too.
Yeah,
so.
in real life. Sidebar though, real quick, before we circle back to Nixium, which of course we will. The actor who played Lex Luthor in Smallville voiced the Flash in the Justice League cartoon, and there was an episode where the Flash and Lex Luthor in the cartoon switched bodies, and so now he's voicing Lex Luthor, but as the Flash in the Justice League cartoon. And I
Interesting.
lost my fucking mind when I was 9 years old and saw that.
Dude.
They used to be doing like galaxy brain shit like
Galaxy
that.
brain shit.
Bring that back.
Bring it back.
I mean, that hit so much harder than like the Spider-Verse shit.
Yeah,
You
man.
know?
No, I didn't care that you. Here's also the thing. I didn't care when Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield showed up because I'm like, dude, I saw Lex Luthor's actor from Smallville voice the Flash in Justice League and then switch bodies with Lex Luthor. So now he's voicing Lex Luthor in the cartoon, but as the Flash.
And
No,
I
I don't care that
saw-
you paid Tobey Maguire to be there.
And I saw Ashley Tisdale making a joke and I was like Cody about how she was auditioning to play Sharpay in the High School musical and making a joke about how everyone says she looks like Sharpay and then everyone goes, we don't really see it.
The one from Sweet Life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good shit. That's
Yeah,
the real
that's
shit.
the
That was so
shit.
funny.
Everyone's like, oh, the Avengers is like unprecedented. It's like, no, I saw That's So Sweet Life of Hannah Montana. What are you talking
Hannah
about?
Montana is way better than anything Marvel could ever
That's
do.
what Sweet Life of Hannah Montana was crazy.
Oh my god.
Also, I was getting confused when you said High School Musical the musical because I was imagining Ashley Tisdale auditioning for the one Olivia Rodrigo was in, and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
But then I remembered, and so
I could
yeah.
tell maybe I wasn't articulating that correctly.
No, but then now I remember, and I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
Dude, I literally had something and I just completely
cult?
lost it. It wasn't Nixium. It wasn't about Nixium.
Justice League cartoon.
It wasn't. It's the way like I think Marvel popularized this, where they want you to act like it's absolutely crazy that they have an actor who played a character in one of their movies show up in another movie, and I'm like, I don't think it's crazy. You paid them to do
Yeah.
that. You hired them
that
and
crazy.
paid them to be there. Like, oh my god, how'd they get Chris Evans to show up as Captain America in both Captain America and the Avengers? It's like you paid him money and made him sign a contract to do that.
Also,
it's not
okay.
like amazing
Something
anymore.
I would like to say about a comment on our last episode saying that Gorgathon was being reasonable and we should just go see a movie. The longest movie is like Avengers Endgame. game, which is like
Only
3.5
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's still not long enough.
Also, can I point this out? If you went to see a movie, let's say if it was like Avatar, like a 3-hour movie, or even Avengers, like 2 hours, and as you walk in, they at AMC said, "Oh, just so you know, we're having some plumbing work done, so you can piss and poop, but you can't flush." You would turn around and leave. Now imagine that AMC theater was your home.
And also, our mom reached out and said, "Hey guys, saw the last episode. You know, you could have just peed and pooed and not flushed, right?
Yeah.
Mom, I know you're watching this. That's not a solution."
As if it's an oversight. It's like, oh, I was watching last episode. You know, you guys could have just pissed and pooped in a Ziploc
not-
bags, right? You could have just had a pile of Ziploc bags that you pissed and pooped into.
We could have just had our diet. It's like that lady with the 7 diapers. You know what I'm talking about?
No. What lady with the 7 diapers?
Maybe it was 17 diapers. I can't remember.
What?
Basically, it was this lady talking about postpartum depression, and she had like 17 soiled diapers on the floor that she like hadn't picked up, and people were like, "This is so real. Like, thank you for being so open about postpartum depression. Like, nobody should be ashamed of their 17 diapers on the floor." So we could have been the next 17
Again.
That's one of those things where I'm definitely going to think my own thoughts and have my own opinions about it, but I'm not dumb enough to say them out loud.
I think it was a bit, it got big for a reason. I think there's a lot of people on both sides of the coin.
Yeah. And of course, I'm on the right side of it.
Whichever that is.
Whichever that is.
Whichever
but
you think is the right side.
Look,
I'll
I'm
weigh
on it.
in once I'm postpartum.
here's
Okay,
what I'm going
okay,
to say, and we'll see where you top out on the diaper front.
Right.
If you get to like 10, 11, 12, 4, 5, 6.
Well, we'll see if we have Mount Dite-more.
Okay, Mount
Yeah.
Dite-more would be
We'll
crazy.
reevaluate.
Yeah, that's the type of thing where I hear that story and all I will publicly say is postpartum is valid and very difficult and it's brave to share your experience, and then I'm going to think my own thoughts and have
Mount
my
Dite-more.
own opinions about Mount Dite-more.
But didn't you say that person retracted their comment?
The person who took Gargathon's side retracted their comment, I think, after you responded to them. You accused them of being Gargathon's burn, and they retracted their comment. So I want to give them credit. And they're a young oldinator, so we give love and we give support, and we welcome discourse.
We do welcome discourse.
do,
If
we
you
do.
disagree with us, please let us know.
And I'll reply.
An evil reply.
And
So
don't back down. Like also,
Yeah,
like
because
this,
I replied to somebody else and they deleted it, and it's like,
Okay.
girl, we're just chatting.
I wanted to say this.
Eve replied
Yeah.
to someone who took my side in the milk gate, and after
Ridiculous.
and after Eve's reply, they deleted their comment taking my side. Eve silencing Chubb's support, and
I would just like to say this. My whole life, I've just been looking for someone who's going to argue with me, which is why I like Robert so much. But I'm like, if
Did
what?
we
Why
already
did you
talk-
make that face?
Wait, what?
You made a
she's
face.
not even on this planet.
Oh, you don't
with
I'm
us.
looking at the comments
She's
first.
thinking-
Eve is never engaged with
Well,
our conversation.
well, what's amazing-
Well, 'cause, like, famously, I'm like, what could I gain from listening to those old hags?
What's so impressive about
Filming a podcast together. Famously, I drove all the way to Pasadena Soul Cycle when the fires were happening.
because you didn't want to make a second of small talk with us.
And Dana was like, "Well, I could have told you if you would have talked to me, and then, but instead you were like, what could I gain from talking to
Again,
this old
when
hag?
it's the morning, I'm in the kitchen with Eve and I go, "Hey Eve, good morning." Nothing.
Nothing.
Dead silence. When it's the morning and Eve has a canceled podcast take to unload, suddenly that becomes my life for 15 minutes.
Like, just
I
there's
also-
a double standard. That's
I
crazy.
also love how just now Eve was like, "What does a young person like me care about these two olds?" I'm like, I don't know. Read the sign. It's the young old pod.
Y'all are a bunch of hags. Y'all a bunch of old hags.
I also felt very seen because Alex Earl made a TikTok where she was ragging on her. What? You
You're-
don't want my foot there?
No. It's just it was fine there for a bit. It's just it's gonna live there.
Is it gonna live there?
I feel so
Is it gonna live there?
Is it gonna live there?
unappreciated. Why
Well,
can't
not
it live there?
It's not that it can't live there. I just like I guess I just was a little thrown. You don't
Thrown-
expect to just have a
thrown
foot on your
why?
thigh.
People would pay me so much money
Yeah.
for that.
Okay, but they think that Gargathon is our landlord, which is not true.
No, it's the
Our
neighbor's
mother is our
landlord.
landlord.
It's the neighbor's landlord.
Gargathon has nothing to do with us.
Which is why we were so perturbed that Gargathon is essentially, basically, to sum up, telling us to piss and shit in tiny little Ziploc sandwich bags.
Because if our landlord, aka our mother,
told us to piss
asked
and
us
shit in
to piss,
Ziploc
I would not
bags.
be as upset.
Well, Eve didn't have any
Yeah.
complaints.
No,
Before
I
Eve
was
realized
fine.
it was
When
the
I thought it
neighbor,
was for us, I
Eve
was
had
like, I
no
was
complaints.
chilling.
Eve literally was a good
Yeah.
soldier.
But then when I learned it was for party city over there,
And this was also before the so it's like
Yeah.
we do our part. We follow Gargathon's orders, and then after that, how are we repaid?
paid.
But this person, by the way, I don't know if you know this. I didn't see. He doesn't have hair, does he?
I don't think so.
I don't think he actually has hair. He might
I don't
be
think so.
bald. So
The jury's out.
the jury's are. And if I'm on the jury, I'm like, it's coming back bald.
T. Okay, what were you saying before?
I feel
Alex
so
Earl.
dejected.
Alex Earl's sister.
Like I honestly, I'm like, okay, my foot is gross.
Are you?
Like,
No,
one's
it's not that your foot is
listening
gross.
to
It'd be
me.
like if suddenly just like my foot's just here. Would this be
So,
organic?
Stop showing dogs for free. Let's save that for when we have.
No one wants my dogs,
Makes me
dude.
excited, but I'm on the verge of tears.
Okay, that'll be like in Frenemies when Trisha storms out crying.
Well, Dana's always like it'll be like the end of the day, and Dana will say she's on the she's been on the verge of tears all day. Meanwhile, I'm like, you've cried like 4 times. You've cried for 4 times.
Okay, tell your Alex Earl thing.
Oh, I was
Also,
just
can you
gonna
scoot
say that
over?
Alex.
I feel like I'm blocking you.
She didn't like that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just having like now I'm having like rejection. Like I'm just like I can't
Is it 'cause
perform
I-
under these conditions.
Is it because
like,
I called you an old hag?
No, you can call me an old hag.
You can put your
I just-
foot. You can put your
No,
foot
I don't
wherever you
want to put my
want.
foot there anymore.
Is it because he said that your foot was gonna live there?
Yeah.
Let her foot live
It can live there. I can live. I was just like, whoa! I didn't expect it was still there because I noticed it, and then a few minutes later, I was like,
rejected she is.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Okay, so what do you want to talk about?
I was
Alex
just
Earl's
gonna
video.
say that Alex Earl made a video about how little sisters are slow and they move fucking slow and they don't have any respect for anyone else's time, and that's how I feel too.
"Is this going to be your delivery for the rest of the podcast?" Like you just got diagnosed with a terminal disease. I just saw an Alex Earl TikTok. It said that little sisters are the worst.
Speaking of terminal disease, that something they say in Solid Core is they always are like, if you're shaking, great news, you've reached 2nd stage muscle failure. I'm like, 2nd stage muscle failure sounds like a fucking disease.
Dude, what does that mean?
It
Is that
means,
good?
like, it's good. It's good.
Because then your muscles break down more and they'll feel back stronger.
You want to reach the goal is to reach 2nd stage muscle failure, but it's just so funny how they're always like, yes, we're reaching 2nd stage muscle failure.
If you're coughing up blood and your eyes are twitching, great news. You've reached 3rd stage muscle failure.
And I'm like, yeah.
If the person in the machine next to you is reaching over and smacking your ass, congratulations.
You've reached 4th stage.
You've reached 4th stage terminal muscle failure.
But I'm like, yes, they say it like it's positive because it's a good thing, but it just sounds dark. It sounds bad. It sounds like
Sinister.
a disease. Like, what do you mean I reached 2nd stage muscle failure?
I think Dana wants to tell her Survivor thing.
Okay.
No, I'm literally just gonna cry. Like I feel
What?
like I'm not being listened
Do you
to.
need water? Oh, girl,
And I feel
let
like-
go. I
No.
just-
Go.
I was trying to pick things up because it seemed like you needed a moment.
I didn't need a moment. I was literally like, yeah, it's like when Jeff Probst and then Robert jumps in,
Oh,
and it's
sorry.
Sorry.
No.
Okay, tell us about
Tell
Jeff
us about Jeff
Probst.
Probst.
like, no, now I have nothing to say.
Tell us about Jeff Probst.
It's just like when Jeff Probst, like,
This is what I mean. I knew you were on the verge of laughter this whole time.
it's like when on Survivor and the people are shaking. Jeff's like, he's like, that's good. Dig deep.
Imagine if like
That's
Tim
all I
Dillon.
was gonna say.
Imagine if like Tim Dillon pulled this on Rogan. If Rogan's like, "What's going on, man?" and Tim Dillon's like, "No, I just don't feel listened to."
It's like when Jeff Probst.
And Rogan has to be like, "No, what is it? What is Survivor? Talk about Survivor, man. Sorry, I was just trying to."
You guys don't know what it's like.
We know we're all in the same situation.
Okay. I just really was thrown off by the foot.
I know you were, and I didn't mean to. It's not that I was even thrown off.
It's all been about the foot.
It's
This whole
all,
time.
clearly it's all been about the
It
foot.
started and it just made me feel rejected, and then it made me feel like I'm in like a loop of rejection. It made me feel like I'm in like a cycle of rejection. I'm in like being thrown off a cliff, and nothing I can do. I can't.
into the waters of rejection.
Yeah, and I can't grab on.
No, I don't.
No one is coming to save me. No one is throwing me a rope.
Okay, here's your life raft
You
from
can
the
put-
sea of rejection.
You can, in fact, you know what I think you do? I think you can put one foot in Eve's leg, one on mine, like you're in
And they
stirrups
can-
at the gynecologist, and that's how you can do young old.
Okay,
Just
I'm
right
ready
down
now.
the barrel.
I'm ready now. I'm ready now.
Okay.
It's like when Jeff Probst is like, "You need to dig deep."
It's like,
Yeah, that's
it's
all.
like when Jeff
It's
Probst
like when
is
Jeff
like, you
Probst
need to
is like,
dig deep.
dig deep. You're shaking. Good. Dig deep.
Yeah.
2nd stage muscle failure.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I love when Jeff Probst makes deals with them for rice.
Yeah.
They're so hungry. They haven't eaten anything. He's like, this is a bag of rice. And look, I'll make you a little deal. He's like bargaining. If 3 of you slap the person to your right in the face, you'll get some rice. And then the contestants start thinking about it because they're so hungry. They're like, I'd be willing to be smacked in the face. What if we don't vote out anyone who does the smacking?
what if we all promise not to vote out the smackers?
Yeah. I love Survivor because you'll see someone and I'll be like, they're a sociopath. They're such assholes. And then they actually push through to where now they're such a sociopath that I love them.
Yeah, no, me too.
Second stage sociopath.
Second stage
Amen.
sociopath.
Failure.
If
Well,
your
again,
friends
in
and
order-
family no longer are looking you in the eye, congratulations. You've reached second stage sociopath.
A perfect villain is one that, like, you don't like villains at first, but if villains keep being themselves, they stay true to themselves, they inevitably become lovable.
Yes. If they say
Like-
a villain who goes all in on being a villain is
Yeah,
likable.
Exactly. Because also, like, there's something really endearing about someone who is almost like committed to being disliked.
Like the guy from Beast Games who, like, there was a pool of money that they could have all taken equally, or you can choose to take like a larger amount.
And 2 people chose to take an insane large
Yeah.
amount.
the first guy was like, I'm taking this number because it's my birthday.
Yeah. And then they were like, you took way too much. And he was like, no.
It was my birthday number.
And he just kept being like, it was my number.
Where's-
He kept being like, it's my number.
Whereas the other person who took a ton of money took way more money, but he was like really.
kept trying to justify
Yeah, he was
it.
like crying and trying to be nice and give hugs.
But the other guy was like, it's my birthday number.
You
It's
can't
for my
be a
birthday.
villain and want to be liked.
And also,
Right.
That's
everyone.
the biggest
Here's
thing.
the thing, though. Everyone else in that crew, they all hated the guy who was trying to be liked, and they actually seemed to come around on the guy who's just like, yeah, I took what was fair. It's
It
my
was for my
birthday,
birthday
number.
number.
Whatever. It's my birthday.
I decided on that number because it's my birthday.
And it's like, yeah, if you just are who you are, people don't mind. But he's like crying. There's literally a shot of him like sitting on a pile of money weeping.
Right.
It's like, get it
And you
together.
know, Mr. Beast reviews that footage a lot
Yeah.
for nefarious reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's wanting to
What
behave.
nefarious reasons?
It's something you were talking about earlier.
No one ever listens to me.
Oh my God.
Go.
No, I just don't even want to like.
And guess what? Your foot's kicked out. It ain't living nowhere.
Also, Dana.
You can't do this.
This is also what's absurd because Dana is a
can't do
conversational
this.
bulldozer in
You
life.
can't do this.
She bulldozes so many people.
You can't do this.
You can't do this.
Okay. Good night, young Aldenator.
We can't go out on this. We can't.
No,
go-
we're not going out on it. But like,
Well, Eve
it's
does have a hard
I'm
out
just
soon.
prepared. All the comments are going to be
What?
like, Chubbs is a toxic, evil gaslighter.
And I'm gonna leave those comments.
And Eve's
for my
gonna,
burner.
yeah, Eve's gonna leave those comments.
No, they're not going to be like Chubbs is a toxic, evil gaslighter.
Well, I am from my burner.
Yeah, and you are from your burner. And
You're
now,
from your burner are gonna be like, wow, I can't believe he didn't let her rest her foot on him. That's a toxic abusive.
also now that we've said that, we for sure are gonna get those comments. It's like whenever like influencers will beef. I saw like a TikToker who was having a feud with another TikToker, and this TikToker started their video by going, "Now look, just because I don't agree with this other TikToker, I don't want to see any of my fans or any of you guys like fat shaming them in the comments."
Girl, no one was doing
No
that.
one's gonna do that. Also, you just called them fat. You're trying to frame it as like I'm being really progressive by saying, "Hey, and no fat shaming my enemy." Everybody, it's like you just said your enemy's fat.
Guys, I don't want to see anyone fat shaming Chubbs in the comments.
Look,
okay, it's enough of that already.
I don't need anyone saying Chubbs is gonna run to the trough like a little piggy and oink
We
oink and
don't
slurp
need
up
to
his
see
slop.
Anyone saying that? I'm sorry. Would you like to say something?
Don't trough shame Chubbs in the comments. No, I don't have any. Like, I literally am like, no, I feel like really shut down. Like, I
Okay.
literally feel like when a child is like punished for drawing and then they never draw again. Why are you?
You
Okay,
think
you know
you're
what?
never
We're
gonna
gonna be
draw again?
silent for the next 30
You think you're never
seconds.
gonna draw again? A la, you will never make chit chat again. You think you're so discouraged from chit chat, you'll never make it
No,
again.
I'm not so discouraged from chit chat. I'm just like, does anyone care about anything I have to say? Like, it's like I've tried so hard to say so many things.
Okay, go on.
No, but now I don't even know what I
No,
was
but then
gonna
every
say.
time I ask you, you're quiet.
I will say also, I happen to know that you and I, when we're in a group, you and I, we will dominate the conversation. And I have seen you bulldoze many a weakling. And you have taken pride oft in your ability to kind of talk over the best of them.
Okay, I think we need to reset and talk about something else.
Well, I have a hard out soon.
This can't be, guys. This can't be the end.
It's not the end.
This can't be the end.
This isn't the end. Let's lift it up. I just had more things to say about like villains, and no one was listening, and that's frustrating.
Well, then say the things about the
Well,
villains.
no, because now it's like all built up, and now it's like whatever I say, it's just like who cares, you know?
I've experienced that many times. I've had to get a bit off, well delayed. Dana, what do you have to say about
The
villains?
name of the game is interruption.
I know the name of the game is interruptions. I know that. It's just like, again, it's like feeling so rejected. Like my foot can't live there.
Can I ask
I think it's all about the foot.
It's
Let's
all
be
about the foot.
honest.
Clearly, it's not even like I was saying. It was just like the foot was here.
It's all about
and
the
I
foot.
noticed the foot was there. And then a few minutes later, I'm like, oh, is the foot just going to be there the whole time? That was my real question.
But like you have to understand that's how hurtful that is.
I didn't understand that. I'm sorry. I had no idea it was going to be hurtful.
Young Oldenators, what you do if Chubbs rejects your foot.
I didn't reject the foot.
I don't even know how to proceed. Like I genuinely I don't know what to say. I just saw a video of this girl being like, "What?"
It's just so funny when you have your tone of I've been diagnosed with terminal disease and you say, I just saw a video of this hot girl.
Well, no, she wasn't that hot, but she was talking
no,
about.
she was like a 6.
Of this girl. She wasn't that hot. I was prettier than her.
But she was talking about how she was like, nothing's wrong. I just don't talk when I have something to say. And I was actually thinking about how it's rude to like, you have to think of stuff to say. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
This is why we were interrupting you.
I agree. I agree with that completely.
Like, I don't know how to get back on. I don't know.
The way that
you
we are-
broke me.
Oh my, by being like the foot?
Yeah, because you ruined my confidence.
I think your confidence is intact.
I think your confidence is fully intact. I think your confidence is an impregnable fortress.
But now I'm like worried that like when I edit the episode, it'll be bad.
When you edit the episode, I think it's going to be an anti-Chubbs framing. Because it's going to be people being like, I would have been honored to have Dana's foot on my thigh.
Mm-hmm.
There's people going to be like, I would pay good money to have Dana's foot on my thigh. I would pay great money to have a bust of Dana's foot.
Right.
Okay.
And they all at home, they're watching with a bust of your foot.
Speaking of, when we went to like Universal City Walk, they have like a
Gal
nerd
Gadot
souvenir
bust.
store, and one of them is like a full-size Gal Gadot Wonder Woman bust for like $7,000, and I'm like, what kind of pervert is gonna buy this?
But we were also saying like
The next time they went, it was sold.
Yeah.
daring the person that you're with to ask the employee how much the bust cost if you don't get the uniform.
Yeah, hey, if I let you
without
guys
the
keep the
costume.
clothes, can I just like take the bus? Would you knock any money off the
Is
price?
there a discount if I don't want the Wonder Woman costume?
Yeah. There's also like a full-sized Harley Quinn Margot Robbie bust next to like a full-size Boba Fett bust. And I imagine someone who buys the Boba Fett bust just so they're not only buying the Margot Robbie bust. It's like when you have to buy a
throw
bunch
them
of
off
other
the
stuff at the
scent,
store when you
yeah.
get condoms so it's not embarrassing. It's like you get the Margot Robbie bust you really want, and like, and I'm not creepy. I'm also getting this Boba Fett bust. And then as soon as you walk out of the store, you throw the Boba Fett in the trash.
Yeah, you have to like make like you collect all kinds of busts.
Yeah.
Of any gender
Yeah.
and or character.
It says I'm going to be
persuasion.
late.
I'm sorry, is your foot gonna be there the whole time?
Okay, well we have to end, I guess.
It says I'm going to be hella late.
all right, let's go. Let's
Eve has
end.
to go. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed the last episode of the Young Old Podcast.
Don't say
Dana's
that. We'll be back next
Rejected.
week.
It was a great ride, but Dana has to end it
Dana's going to end it.
because Chubbs rejected her foot.